Hello, this is Reil. Myself, my sister, and my brother-in-law had recorded ourselves watching and discussing episodes 3 and 4 of Infinity Train, and then it crashed near the end, and I didn't think it had saved, and so we did a whole second episode, kind of not watching it, but just talking about it. And so what happened was once we finished and recorded that, I found out the original one, even though it had crashed, it had saved. So I edited that one, but it's going to take a few days to do the copyright claim. And I thought the second one we did still had a lot of good discussion in it. So I thought, as a placeholder, because that one doesn't have any episode in it. It's just a discussion. We don't have to worry about copyright claim. So this video here is us doing our kind of rehash of the original video, but I just thought I'd include it here as well. And then in a few days, hopefully our copyright claim clears, and I can post the original one. So, all right, hope that is not an issue for any of you. I mean, if it is, I'm still going to do it.
Recording yet?
Yes, we're now recording.
Okay, so now go, Steve. You started a game.
Well, I'll do an intro. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
intro.
I'll intro first. Hello, everybody. This is Reil, and we are going to be talking about episodes 3 and 4 of Infinity Train. Now, I have to confess, we had a slight technical difficulty. We've already recorded what was probably the best commentary, most intelligent discussion you've probably ever heard. But unfortunately, yeah, you're never going to hear it now. We solved a lot of the world's problems.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it clipped out. It kicked me out. It kicked us out and didn't record. I lost this. Lost the recording. If you're watching this, we lost the recording and had to start over. So we're going to do our commentary on episodes 3 and 4, and then I'll just put clips at random moments while we're talking in here. Now, you guys we do have nicer backgrounds, kinda, in this one, so that's a plus. And then Steve was going to tell us about a video game he played,
That reminds him of the show.
No, mine's in the background.
Oh, of the background. Go on, Steve.
No, it was just it's a little.
He was just give it a good lead up, Steve, or Brian. Really lead up.
Okay.
What he's about to say.
Yeah. So
it was just...
Steve was on a roll. So we were having this really deep discussion. So we solved homelessness, solved world hunger, solved the sickness, all the diseases in the world. Everything was almost done. But then Steve had this cool idea about this video game that this background reminded of. We scrapped all that stuff and said, Steve, please
take it away.
We can deal with cancer later.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is way more important.
Yeah.
So it was about this, it's like an indie game that you're like this little orb floating through space.
Oh.
That's about it.
Perfect. What's it called?
Sometimes I
Ecto or
think I'm on a spaceship.
Exo 1.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's a good game. Short, but
the background you guys are using is the background I do when I'm doing my Embers of the Imperium thing.
Oh.
Sometimes. Okay. Anyways, not important.
I'm making.
But interesting.
So today we watched episodes 3 and 4 of Infinity Train. Episode 3 is the Corgi car. Amber, we're using real names today because we decided we don't have to call them Thing 1 and Thing 2. See, we said that in the first video that probably didn't get saved, so now we have to say that again.
Yeah. So we have to say it in a less funny way.
Yeah. Or maybe this is more funny. I'm not a good judge of humor. But that's Amber. That's her husband, Steve. She's my sister. He isn't. Okay. Now, Amber, could you maybe just summarize for us the Corgi car?
Right. We've discussed the roles.
Yeah, Steve's the analyst. Steve's the analyst, and you're the summarizer.
The one that pays attention, and I add my input sometimes.
The recapper.
Yeah, you have to do the recap.
Right, you have to know.
The fact you can't remember is actually ideal, because I don't want you to explain the whole episode, just the key points. What are the key points you remember of the Corgi car?
Okay. She was trying really. Okay, this is the boring version. Sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. Just say it in a weird voice.
She was like, she was really trying to get to the the control center of the train. Is that what it's
Yeah.
called? The control center?
The conductor, yeah.
The conductor. So she's really trying to get there. And then she ended up in Corgi Land. And then they had a compatible problem. They had to cross this river, her and the king of the corgis had to cross the river to find this monster that was terrorizing Corgi Land. And then the monster, she had to, the monster,
Yeah.
edit all this out, please.
No,
No, it's staying in.
old.
No.
The monster.
The monster was shooting at them and putting balls, shiny balls, into these holes.
Balls. in the
Glowing
balls.
balls in holes.
All right.
They were.
Brian, don't
she
make me
wasn't-
do this.
She was taking the.
That's okay.
ball.
You've done fantastic.
I've
You've done
done enough.
fantastic.
Is what I've done.
And now is where you can pass it over to Steve.
Steve,
Well,
take
tell us
it
what it all
away.
means.
No, she was punching
Tell
in.
it properly.
She was like
Steve.
punching in code, and then it would like open up a panel, and she was like removing the balls.
Yeah. No,
And
you
then-
said something key there.
Yeah, the code.
Why is
or the
that?
panel?
Why is that crucial to our protagonist?
Because she's
She's a
robot?
programmer.
She's a programmer.
Yeah.
See,
So
that's what
she-
I do, Brian. That's my role.
That's
I
why I
should-
knew I picked the right person for that, Amber.
Yeah, but
All right.
that's my role. I'm not the recap.
She.
Okay.
So she's already at computer camp. Dun dun dun.
I mean,
Or-
that's not where I was going with that, but
Or she's dead.
She's a programmer.
or she's dead. That'd be a twist.
Hmm.
And that's purgatory.
Yeah. And now it's deciding whether she goes up or down, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Or maybe just like back or
And forth.
not back.
Yeah. I mean, more what I was getting at is that it's thematically appropriate.
It is a pro. It's,
It's
a
there's,
program.
do you guys know a literary concept called Chekhov's gun?
No.
No.
So Chekhov's gun basically states that if you like you're writing a book and you put a gun in one of the scenes, you have to use that gun later.
Hmm.
So in a lot of shows, and there might be some things, sometimes this is probably not 100% accurate, but people often make a point that if we're going to use an important object in the story, we have to introduce it and then there has to be a payoff, right?
Right.
So it's like, so in this case, the fact that she's a coder
Right.
and the fact that this machine was coding
Mhm.
is probably narratively deliberate.
Linked together.
Because this train is her train of thought.
I mean, maybe. I'm not going to ruin anything for you,
The
Amber.
problem is that another kid got sucked off the train,
And you don't know that that was a kid either.
and we don't know if maybe that was her. Maybe we saw her in the future.
Maybe.
Anyways, about this episode,
I think she's
what we
inside
said-
her mind.
what we said before was the balls. They took the orb out, and then a tree disappeared. The Corgi King put the ball back in, and then the
Yeah.
river stopped.
Mhm.
All those kind of
And
things.
I say that has to do with the environment.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for taking care of the planet.
I
Okay.
don't think so.
I definitely
I think
so.
it is something about the coding. There's something about the coding
It
of the
has to do
train.
with
And
choices.
then what else did we talk about? We talked about the lesson, the moral.
Yeah.
of the
The moral
episode
lesson of that episode.
was don't run across people's buffet dance party.
Yeah.
tape.
So there's a scene where she runs through a monster ball car and she runs over the table and there was a vampire with a really big head that looked like he was just there to have fun and chill.
He was there to party.
Yeah, and she ran across the table and he just glares at her. And even once she leaves the car, you can still see him glaring at her through the door.
I don't think that's there to party. I think it looked like a fun, like dance on the table party, and he's
Nobody
like,
he had all the
he's like the guy that's like,
No.
"Eh."
No, they were
Oh.
eating. That was the food
Yeah, that was
table.
their dinner
Okay,
table.
okay, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Or-
And she
Food
like
table.
knocked stuff over and it was like, he
Yeah.
was like, what?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's what we're
It
like.
took
If
me
you
all
knock our
day,
food over.
Yeah, if you run over
That
my table and knock
yellow-
everything over, I'm gonna stare at you like that.
We
I'd be mad too.
That's what he gives her. Is one of
we
those.
true. We look forward to dinner.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's a big thing.
I love eating.
Yeah, and so do
You know
I.
what? I was thinking about that because everybody, as she keep running through, everybody kept asking her if she's got time.
Yes.
Do you have time?
So narratively speaking, this is again trying to tie the theme of the episode together.
Mhm.
Is that she was trying to rush
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
Patience.
Wait, hold on. Are we getting the corgi? I might be getting. Let's slow down. I might be getting up to the next episode.
Yeah,
But
that
it
was the
could
next.
be an
but I mean,
ongoing theme.
well, no, yeah,
Patience.
because it was the same. It was
Yeah, it's
you're
the
right,
corgi
because-
car. She ran through a whole bunch in the corgi car.
And then she gets to the corgi car and they're like, but then she gets distracted because there's all these corgis in it.
Yeah.
The king shows up and she even says to the king, I don't have time for this right now. And he's like, great, let the tour begin or whatever.
Yeah.
Come in.
And then he tells her like that river's 2.5 feet deep. Nobody's getting through that.
Yeah.
So
I like to see where he was like,
Even though they can swim.
we're a noble creature and we don't like being carried. She's like, why are you telling me this? And then he's like,
oh
struggling
yeah,
the
when she
whole way
carries him
across.
over. Yeah. Or the whole thing about the unlockable or the
Yeah.
impossible puzzle door.
Yeah.
That's just okay. She pulls out her notebook. Okay, how do you solve this puzzle? Well, first you grab the doorknob, and then you must turn it. That's it.
My people have been working on this for years.
Technology for years.
Yeah, that was good.
Ah,
It was good.
all right. Yeah.
So
Okay.
then,
Good. Yes. So that one was and then we have that the encounter that machine that's playing with the orbs,
yeah,
and the machine
Oh,
shoots
yeah.
at them.
and then she sees one,
Yeah.
and then she like kind of freaks out or something and leaves.
Yeah. She leaves
Because
when
I
she
think-
sees one.
I think her and one are connected somehow. They're
Okay.
other like family or
Like you think the girl in one?
yeah, the robot girl.
Yeah,
I think-
because one
I
is
think-
definitely bipolar. Like he's
Well, I think one might be part of her somehow.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to tell.
I think
You'll-
I think he must be as well. I just like it's like the whole like he's like so happy on one side, so negative on the other side. Mind you, it's usually his right now it's his negative guy that's talking all the time.
Yeah. But I think it's probably because as a writer, his negative is probably just funnier.
Easier to write
It's
for.
like probably funner to write.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So and then they went to the crystal car.
Yes.
So I guess before we get to that. So it's kind of moral of the corgi car episode is ease up, take your time. You know, sometimes you just gotta be patient. You know, things will,
Things will work out.
well,
Things will-
I don't think they're saying things will work out. She still has to act,
Right.
you
Right.
know. But
But yeah, but
things you can't rush.
things happen in its own
Things
time.
happen in its own time. Yes, excellent.
Mhm.
You had an excellent analogy in the original recording, and I said it was probably the best analogy I've ever heard in my life. What was
That's
it?
not what you said. You said it was the best one you've heard from me, but that's okay.
I was trying to be more complimentary in this version.
Brian, it's okay.
Yeah,
Do you remember it though?
No.
I remember now, but I
What
think
was
it had
it?
more to do with the next one,
Yeah.
which is the crystal car.
Woo!
Go on,
Yes.
recap.
No.
Amber gets to recap.
Gosh, no.
I think we'll make Steve recap, and then Amber will have to do the analysis.
You're animated. I just have like I'm not good at recapping. You recap.
They got to the car, the crystal car, and they couldn't find their way. And then that weird little guy with the weird cool mustache showed up and showed them that the door was up and that the stairs had been removed by the robot with the face thing and the arms. And then he told them he had to like touch the blue stone and sing their heart song or whatever.
Mhm.
And then the stairs will show up. So then Tulip did a bunch of songs, but it wasn't right. And then the guy said, no, you gotta go sing from the heart or whatever. And then
Like that wasn't the first message all along.
Yeah,
but
well, I
okay.
mean, and then she did, and she sung about the song that her and her family used to sing on road trips together. And then the cool guy shows up, the huge guy, who has the best dexterity I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like
really
Yeah,
delicate. giant
true.
fingers.
it was like
The crystal guy
he was ginormous, pulls a set of stairs out from his mouth, and then he's like, whoop, with the tiniest key in the world, like
Yeah.
unlocks the door.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Mhm.
And then yeah, actually you didn't even see
Probably the highlight of the show.
they didn't get to the next car.
Yeah, we don't
so-
see in the next one yet. But what I like
Oh.
is when she's going through all the songs, she's singing like songs she thinks he would find emotional.
Supposed to be emotional.
Yeah. So these are those songs that are about love and unrequited love and sorrow and all these sorts of things, and nothing works. And then she sings this, what even she calls like, it's not emotional at all. It's just a stupid song about dancing, but it's the song she used to sing on road trips with her parents
That made her emotional.
that made
Yeah.
her emotional.
I just don't know how it took her so long to connect that.
Well, I think well, this is part of the story of this episode is she's trying to be over rational, right? So she's
Yeah.
not
Overthinking it.
she's not feeling her way to her solution to this problem. And this is the discussion we had originally. It's like sometimes thinking is the way to get to the solution to your problem, but sometimes, especially when you're trying to deal with inner stuff,
Mhm.
like her dealing with her parents' divorce, you have to go into the feeling
The
aspect.
feeling of it.
Yeah.
I did like the dog's
She keeps
advice
saying that's like
to
harder
sleep
for me.
on everything.
Yeah.
He said it like
He
two
tells her a
times.
couple times that she needs to sleep on it.
Now is that
Never
because
yeah.
is that because she hasn't actually rested yet?
It's
Because
possible they haven't shown her sleeping, but I find a lot of TV shows avoid
Yeah.
that major part of our lives.
that
Like
using the
really,
bathroom
every movie should be 2/3 of it should be sleeping.
or
Yeah.
Wanted to make it.
bathroom.
All my movies are.
Yeah.
Um,
Even during the awake hours, it's sleeping.
sleeping. I think it's because your subconscious works things out.
Well, that's what he was kind of saying. He was
Like
like,
the
maybe
dog.
if you sleep on
Well,
it,
Yeah.
the song will come to
Yeah. Well, he even said too, though, like because he said when the guy said to sing your heart song, his heart song came to him right away, right?
you. Yeah.
Like he didn't overthink it. It just the thing that was
Right.
important to him popped in his head.
You
Yeah,
just know.
but how many songs do a dog have?
Well, that's true. He probably only knew the one.
Who
And
knows?
there you have
Who
it.
knows? They're emotional creatures. They could
Sure.
Yeah,
be
but they're emotional about that one song, maybe.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. It was like
They have
it was
lots of
like
them.
almost their national anthem. It sounded like. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it was kind of like the song about his people.
Yeah.
Corgi.
Dogs live in their hearts, though.
Yeah. And that's probably why he's a good addition to the team. Because
Yeah.
one is not in his heart.
I don't know.
little
Nobody really
robot.
knows where one really is.
Yeah,
He's trying
But
to find
he's-
his mom. Maybe that is
Yeah.
his mom.
maybe.
Like
Maybe-
the crystal.
Maybe the train is his
Who?
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we had an interesting, we really did have a good, nice discussion going before we got cut off there.
Yeah.
I just want to bring up some of the things that we had talked about. We'll just summarize it, I guess. We're out of the moment now. It's gone. But you said an analogy and it had to do something to do with like, oh yeah. No, I had, because we talked again, last time we talked about how, parents got divorced. We had never talked about it with anyone else in the family.
Oh, the
I think
closet thing.
the closet thing. And so I'm going to take the credit for this analogy now. Nobody will know you came up with it. And you said like, if you leave all your clothes disorganized in the closet for 25 years, the closet's not going to organize itself. I thought that's a really nice metaphor for the fact, something anyone in our family, nobody's dealt with it really. It's just
Right.
kind of over time it's faded.
Well, and I always think it's so annoying when people say, that was so many years ago, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
if you haven't dealt with it, it's still there.
if you haven't cleaned it, it's still there. It's still a mess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was good. It was a good analogy, Amber. I'm just
Do you-
joking about stealing all the credit.
I can tell. But thanks for pointing that out. I
You did just announce that you were gonna steal the credit on a
Yeah.
recording for YouTube.
Yeah.
I like
Um,
my
Unless you
evil
edit
plans
all
to be
that out.
broadcast. Sorry?
Unless you edit all that out. But yeah.
Well, I could. I could edit
You
this
could.
to say
You could.
anything.
You
You
are
guys
the
could say, if you guys
omnipotent-
read the dictionary to me, I could then make you say anything I want.
That's true.
Yeah.
You are the omnipotent one of this whole
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about though, like
Overlord.
but like, do you not naturally just kind of start to unpack? I mean, you might not clean your closet completely,
Right.
but do you not start to like unpack a
I
couple of
think, I think,
things?
I
I mean,
think
like,
things
yeah,
do get sorted over time vicariously. Like as you deal with other parts of life problems, there's going to be overlap.
True.
you know,
However, I believe that the way that life works is that it's teaching us lessons, and you're either learning it and going on the merry-go-round, or like, you're not learning it and just like living it over and over, or you learn it and you're like, okay, you're off that ride now.
Yeah. Maybe.
you know, you
So-
said something actually before in the other video too, Brian, that the story with Amber and you. And
Oh,
how
yeah.
you
Do you want me to tell that again?
You can
Is
if
this
you
the
want.
knife store?
No.
The one where she was peer pressuring me, or the one where I told her I was a robot?
Yeah, no, the one where she was peer pressuring
Yeah.
The
you
one I was
and,
annoying.
and you
Yeah,
were,
well, the one where Amber was being annoying. I think
then
technically
you-
both of those stories kind of fall in that category, but this one is
No,
you cut my arm with a knife.
you told me to.
No, well, kind of. Okay, so anyways, I will explain that in a second. But first of all, there was a time when I was having some sort of problem. I came home. This is when we lived in the same house, and I was upset about something, and I no idea what it was. I cannot remember now. But I just remember Amber sitting on the couch being like, Brian, tell me about what's bothering you. I was like, no. Brian, you'll feel better if you tell me what's bothering you. I was like, no, I won't. Don't want to talk about it. I said, Brian, I insist, promise, you're going to feel a lot better if you just tell me. And she just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And finally said, Amber, I'm now so annoyed by you trying to get me to talk about it. I'm no longer upset about that.
Right.
The other thing, I'm now more upset that you're trying to get me to talk about it. So in that way, it worked.
But it's not working. That's not working.
that's just
That's
diverted.
like painting over the problem. That's
Yeah.
just like, it's just diverting.
Well,
Yeah.
you successfully painted over the problem, Amber.
I successfully diverted.
See,
Yeah.
what I was gonna say was like, if you do end up talking about a problem, even though it might be hard, it does feel better because
That's
uh,
here's the thing, because first off, because I do this with Isaac as well. Like when something's bugging him, and like sometimes I'll just try and get him to talk, and if it's not working, I eventually just get annoyed, and I'm like, you got to talk about it, because I know that's not how you get someone to talk.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm just, because some people just have such an instinct to like stuff it down. It's concerning.
I have that.
See, and here's the thing, because I actually have it too, but mine is like, I stuff it down for convenience. So it's like, this is not the time for me to deal with that. So then I stuff it down, and I totally do that. But then once I have the time to deal with it, I melt down and I talk it out and I figure it out and I do all the things. So I'm a part stuffer as well. Like I'm definitely not someone who
Well, I
just
think that's very appropriate. Like while you're driving isn't the time to have a meltdown, for example.
freaked out. Yeah. And so like, I'm
Yeah.
very much like I'm going to stay calm so I can handle what I need to handle. But then once I'm like free to be emotional, then I get emotional and I kind of am a bit of a wreck until I work it out. But like, so anyway, but the thing is that some people, they just like their instinct, it's kind of like, I hear that this is really common when people are choking, that when they're choking, they want to hide. They don't want people to see them choking.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, which is obviously a really dangerous instinct.
Yeah.
And so that's how I feel like when people are just like, I'm going through something hard, I just cannot talk about it, like put it on lockdown. And it does drive me a little nuts. And the thing is, it's not that I necessarily care if someone talks to me. I just want them to talk to someone. You know, it's like if something's bugging Isaac and he doesn't want to talk to me, like I'm like trying to find someone that he'll talk to. Cause
I was going to say before, I think that's a big part of it too, though, because talking about your problems, helpful probably is, but it really depends a lot who you're talking to and when.
Yeah, that's true.
totally.
You have to have that person that you can
Like
Yeah.
if it has to be
Kind of
somebody that
trust.
you're comfortable talking about it to, or it's not
and
Right.
just
confide
going
in
to be
it.
intense.
Totally. Totally.
You know what? You need
True.
somebody that's not going to like judge you or
Yeah.
Yeah,
take,
there's something
the other person's
non-judgmental.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need somebody that's going to be like, sometimes you just need somebody to just nod and say, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
that's,
I think for me, it kind of can go either extreme is okay. So either they know you really, really well and you know they care
Okay.
about you, they're not going to
Yeah.
judge you, or they're completely
Total stranger. Yeah.
total stranger who doesn't care, but
Yeah.
will let you still kind of just unload.
Yeah.
I
Either
guess it
way,
depends.
I'd be okay with.
I think it depends on the problem.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Totally
like,
depends on the problem
I
for
hate
me.
saying it, but like in my line of work, holy smokes, like I'm that person
That
You know,
everyone
like
talks
we-
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it'll just be like, it's like, oh, so where would you like your internet modem? And then all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm going through a divorce, so I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, here we go. I guess
See-
yeah, let's have it, right?
But
And
my
then-
Yeah.
thing, sorry, I cut you off. But like, cause
It's
like
okay,
as a
you should do it.
hairstylist, cause like as a hairstylist, that's what you do. And I completely get it. Like I don't judge oversharers. Cause I'm just like, they're gonna go crazy if they don't share. They have to share. You know?
No, I
Because
get it.
I feel like it's better to be oversharing than have nowhere to go with your stuff.
I'd rather have nowhere to go.
Or someone will go crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it just depends on the person too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm. Well, like I have grown up. I know not to push people. Like I said, like sometimes I might push.
And in Amber's favor, she hasn't done this in a long, long, long time. I think she tried it that one time, and it was
You
probably
also-
more challenging for you than you cared for.
you also live very far, far away, Brian.
Well, that's maybe why.
Maybe, yeah. See, whereas I
Can't get
Right
me out
here.
here.
I don't make you talk.
Not
I
anymore.
No, I'm talking about Steve now. Steve's saying
Oh.
that he has to live with it.
no,
So
I've just figured it out. Like it's either I talk about it with her or I get dragged through it. And then
Yeah.
I end up having to talk. But
Yeah.
she'll do this to me with our son. She'll be like,
Yeah.
you need to figure out what's wrong with him. I'm like, what? And then I'm like a
because
train
if he
wreck,
doesn't
and
want
I'm
to
like-
talk to me, I'd be like,
I'm like blunt force trauma. I'm just like, what's wrong? And he's like, nothing. I'm like, no, what your mom says. You know what I mean? Like a real.
that's not what you're supposed to say.
Well, what else do I say? I get,
Anyway,
he's.
I don't know how
very
you would
much-
deal. I don't know how you would deal with. He's like what, 13, 14?
Yeah.
14.
Like that is the age when I was at the worst for mom to try to talk to. I wouldn't say anything.
I don't know. It's
I don't know
weird, though.
how. I don't know how she could have done it though.
Yeah.
It's just
He
at that
will talk-
age.
he will talk sometimes, but I definitely need to like let him talk when he
Yeah.
wants to talk. Like you
Yeah.
just don't. I like the only time I ever push it when it's like really bad. If it's like blatantly, obviously, like something terrible has gone
Yeah.
on,
And I
and
think
he's like
that's fair.
really shutting down. So I'm like, hey,
I
you
don't
have to
think
talk
you're
with
wrong. I don't think you're
somebody.
wrong for doing this. I just don't know what approach would work on a teenage boy.
Well, like, because I mean, like, I
Force.
try the good stuff first. And then if it doesn't work, and then I start to be like, you got to talk about this. And then that's when I send Steven. And then I'm like, Steve, you got to talk to him.
Well, see, and then what I do with him after is like, I just kind of reassure him that no matter what he says, he's kind of in a safe bubble.
Yeah.
Like right now, for these next few moments,
Yeah.
whatever you say,
Yeah.
it's not going to be judged or
Yeah.
like you're not in the wrong.
Yeah.
And
See-
it might not come off like that, Captain Interrupto, but that's the feeling I want to try and get to him. And then when he does start to open up, he's like, well, I don't want to say that. I'm like, you're a safe place. Just drop it. Hit me with it. And then eventually he'll say it. And I'm like, and then we should start kind of dissecting it together and like rationaling it. And it's like, oh, well, maybe that person didn't mean that. Or maybe somebody else was thinking, you know what I mean? Or that person might be in a different headspace.
Let them know that we've been there too. Be like, yeah, that sucks. And like, it sucks when we're there too.
I think that's good. I think empathy is better than advice a lot of the time.
Yeah, because it's like,
and you can't really
understand. Feel like it's not just him.
Yeah. So sometimes people don't want advice.
A lot of times.
Or advice, in my experience, is often bad.
True.
Like just because when you were his age and it worked for you doesn't mean it's going to work for him at this age, you know.
True, totally. And that's why, like, even if not that I'm 0% pro at this, because I'm a dude this way, like I'm such an advice giver. But at the same time, I am an advice giver with this was my experience, this is what I did, this is what happened. Like, I'm not the advice giver who's like, you need to do it like this, because I don't.
So you're going on record saying that you're not bossy.
Yeah.
You see.
In some ways, I'm not bossy.
To be fair, you're certainly not the bossiest.
I'm not.
You're a low medium.
I'm bossy, yeah.
You're low. I think
medium rare bossy.
I feel like you're bossier than I am, though.
It depends if you're her footstool.
It depends what's going on. But okay, so back to what we were talking about. So the thing is, though, is that as a parent, actually, like, so I really strongly feel this way, because, like, Kate, this is the counselor role. So, like, as a parent, you are a bit of a counselor, can be a bit of a counselor, but this is the tricky corner that parents get put in, and the poor kids are stuck with the parents, because parents are also responsible for consequences. So it sucks for kids, because it's like, if it was someone else's kid and I'm not responsible for their consequences, it's easy for me to be like, say whatever you have to say, because I'm not responsible for them facing the music,
Right.
And so I think it's easier for a kid who's not used to me being that part of their life to open up. Whereas, like, a kid who's like, mom and dad get me in trouble all the time for things, like, it's harder for him to kind of separate that and be like, oh, I'm safe now. Like, he's gonna feel like, am I safe now, or am I gonna get in trouble if I did something wrong? And he's gonna filter his side of the story. Anyway, so my whole thing is just trying to make sure that he has people in his life that he does feel he can just say anything to safely and get decent advice from. Because I know that it's going to be hard for him to see me that way, because I have to get him in trouble a lot.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. I think it becomes at the teenage point, people aren't very inclined to listen to their parents. No. They're more
and that
inclined.
Makes a lot of sense. And I mean, first off, I never did. And
you weren't too, no, but you know what mom said about you? Because you weren't like one of the rebellious ones, but mom said she could never punish you.
Right.
Because she said what you would do is you knew the punishment for doing something, and would be like grounded for 2 weeks or whatever, and you would calculate, is there any parties or anything I want to go to in the next 2 weeks? And so it was like a trade-off. It's like, okay, there's nothing I need to go to in the next 2 weeks. I'll just do this and get in trouble, not a problem. Or it's like, oh no, there's a big party next week and I want to make sure I can go, so I'm not going to do this bad thing.
Yeah. So I'd be like, is it worth it?
So you weren't a bad kid, but you were just impossible to punish when you were bad.
Yeah. I was not bad. I would say I was never rebellious to be rebellious.
Yeah.
But I was very much like, I'm going to make up my own mind about this. Like, so like if someone said something was bad or wrong, I'm like, well, that's what you think. I'm going to figure out what I think.
Out of all the kids in our family, I think you were probably one of the easier ones.
That's what I've heard.
I'm just guessing because I'm not your actual parent.
Mind you, though, I came right after the hardest one.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
So I was a breeze.
Yeah, you had an umbrella. And I think I was mostly easygoing. The hardest part they had with me was getting me to do dishes. But you have to understand, Steve. You have to understand, it's a family of 9 people who bakes their own bread, cooks everything from scratch, Dishes, and we didn't have a dishwasher when I was a kid. So
Yeah,
if dishes, and we had a chore chart, so everyone rotated chores every week. And if it was your week for dishes, that was just your week. Oh, I'm not doing anything this week. I'll be doing dishes all week.
They had a dishwasher, Brian.
No, not when I was not in Rosemary.
Yeah, no, you guys had a dishwasher.
Not in Rosemary.
It was called
kids.
the children.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dishwasher, yeah.
that's a dad pun.
You had like total tons of dishwashers.
No,
Yeah.
it's too raw, Steve. It's too raw.
It's too raw. We don't joke about dishes in my house, Steve.
If you guys worked as a
there's
team,
a line.
Tackled them all together.
That's what I
That'd been
remember.
way
I barely remember dish week. I remember like you're in charge of cups, you're in charge of
Okay, but the
bowls.
thing is, by the time you were old enough to do dishes, we had a dishwasher.
No, because I totally remember that you have to do cups, you have to do bowls, you have to do plates.
We didn't have that in Rosemary. We had Bryant. You're gonna be here for the next 12 hours. Get used to it.
Oh my
Because you were
goodness.
only like 6 when we moved.
Yeah, I know. So I got
You
out.
can't really have been doing that much dishes.
No, I didn't have to do a lot. By the time I came around, there was more of a system down. However, I do agree and remember that we had sword in the stone dishes. Like it's like piles.
Oh yeah,
taped
yeah,
on,
the movie.
Layered food.
Yeah. It was like
just
mountains
outrageous.
of dishes.
Yeah. And especially when you're a kid and everything's exaggerated, because it literally was mountains of dishes. But like when you're a kid and it's like as big.
Yeah,
as
when you're
you.
smaller in comparison, it's
Yeah.
like, well, that stack of dishes is bigger than me. But because of these dishes, Amber, I did once see a hard-boiled egg explode in the pot because somebody had boiled an egg, and and they left it on, and all the water evaporated, and then it just exploded. The pot didn't explode.
Does
The
that make
egg was
it-
like, bam.
Does that make it all worth it?
No, it startled me.
Worth
And Steve, outside our kitchen window, and Amber, actually, you were too young probably to remember. We had cats, and we'd keep their dishes outside, and then skunks would come eat it. So sometimes we get skunks over. So that was
Give
fun.
us a little entertainment while we're stuck there for 12 hours at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was one time, remember we had that gooseberry bush? Oh my goodness, Steve, this is totally unrelated to everything. I think Amber probably knows this story. It's the most harrowing moment of my life. You know what I'm talking about, Amber? Okay. So there was one time I was in the house and Janice comes in like crying. So Janice, anyone out there is I have many sisters, but Janice is the one that's right below me in age. Amber is like the youngest. And so Aunt Janice came running into the house and she's like, Brian, there's this terrible insect in the gooseberry bush or whatever she said. But she was like crying. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, what a baby. Okay, I'll go take care of this bug, Janice. And so I go out to the gooseberry bush with her, and inside there's this like green, I swear it looked intelligent. It was like this giant green worm. It was like poised up with big black eyes staring at us, thinking about all the different ways it's going to eat our faces. It looked like a demonic giant caterpillar thing. I have no idea what it was. And so I go in, Janice and I go in, Dad, there's this big, horrible bug in the gooseberry bush. And he's like, oh, he rolls his eyes. Oh, come on, kids, it's just a bug. And then he goes out and he looks at it, he's like, kids, go inside.
Get my gun. You don't own a gun, Dad. Well,
Yeah.
get
I think he picked up like a rake or something. But I just remember that because he's like I was to Janice. It's just a bug. Why can't you handle a bug? Then he looks at it. Go inside, kids. This ain't gonna be pretty. Only one of us is coming back.
Maybe they were buddies or something.
Maybe.
He was like, I told you to not let the children see you.
Maybe
And
it was
he's
an
like, I'm sorry,
alien.
George,
Yeah.
but
But I
must
swear,
move
and
forward quicker than
I've tried to figure out what kind of bug this was.
I thought you found it eventually. Like
Maybe
years
I've never been
later.
so terrified in my life as that caterpillar thing, wormy thing, demon.
My most terrifying memory. I love that this whole channel is us talking about our family, which is
Yeah.
our favorite thing to do. But
Yeah.
But like,
But that's what see, that's the great thing, Infinity Train. It brings out these sorts of topics in you.
I suppose, yeah. My most terrifying childhood memory, and I have many terrifying childhood memories. The most terrifying was grandma's toilet.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I have to explain this. So grandma and grandpa lived near where you guys live now, like a block away ish. And grandpa built that house, I believe, because he lived in a dugout originally, and then he built this house. But it had like the German like sloped roof instead of the peaked roof. So that was fun because we could go up there and run around.
I never did.
But they didn't have plumbing. Oh, they did, because they had running water in the faucets.
Yeah, there was plumbing.
It's just for whatever reason they didn't have like a plumbed toilet. It was like it was basically an indoor outhouse.
Yeah.
So it was like a plastic toilet thing over a big hole in the ground.
Yeah. No,
I don't know if there was a septic tank down there or what, but it was terrifying.
It was terrifying. So it was not in a room. It was in a hallway, like a kind of a hidden hallway in the back of the house. And this is a little kid, so this is like through a little kid's eyes. And then, so no doors, no nothing. Giant.
But it wasn't like people could stare at you. It was like off around a corner.
Yeah, it was like it was like in a hidden, which makes it feel like a haunted house because there was a red light. There's a really dark hallway, no windows, red light, and you go down this dark hallway, and then there's this toilet that you have to go on a step to get up to it, and it was taller than me. And it was like wide. I don't know why it was the widest toilet on the planet. And then mom would have to like hover me over this pit. And I would like scream my head off the whole time. And then, so every time I had to go to the bathroom, I like had massive anxiety. And I told mom she had to drive me over to Auntie's house. Cause
well, why didn't you go to Uncle George's?
I might have gone there too.
Actually, so what we would do, Steve, our great Uncle George lived across the road.
Yeah.
Well, you know where that house is.
Yeah.
Because you live next to it. It's probably.
Yeah. It's a shit.
Yeah. So, but when he was alive, he well kept his house though. It was really good condition.
It was.
But he had a good working toilet, so we could just run over there when we could.
True. Yeah. Okay. So I probably did go there too, but it's just Auntie.
Yeah.
Had kids my age. So, but yeah. So that was like that was like probably my scariest childhood memory. What's your scariest childhood memory?
I don't fear anything.
You had no fears. I also feared long car trips and having to go to the washroom. All related to going to the washroom. My fears. Not all of them, but like, yeah. But like having to go to the washroom on the side of the road. Also,
I think as a girl, that was probably tougher. I don't think it's something that ever bothered me.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I had a bug story once. Like, I don't know where Amber's gone. She's not.
Amber disappeared.
She's phasing out. She doesn't want to hear this story. I'm just gonna teleport out here for a bit. No, it wasn't scary or anything, but like I remember because like I wasn't young. Like I was probably like maybe 12-ish, in around there, 12, 13. So it wasn't like I was, like a tiny child. I remember my dad had these logs at the back of our yard for some reason. It must have been for firewood. I remember I moved this log one time, and I was like looking at this thing, and it was huge. It was ginormous.
Was it a giant green caterpillar demon?
Nope. It looked like a grasshopper, but it was like the color of wood. So it was like gray and it looked camouflaged, and I was like, what the heck is that? It was ginormous. I just remember like, holy smokes. And all of a sudden it like jumped and it just flew away. And I watched it fly away like a helicopter. It was that large. I watched it for probably like a solid minute and a half, 2 minutes. Like I can still see it. It was nuts. But like I said, it wasn't terrifying, but it was like
startling. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was like, wow, what the heck? Like I was like, oh, there it goes.
I wish I could show you this worm because now I feel like I'm just an idiot.
No, because I swear it was either you or Janice that saw the worm like in a book somewhere. And you're like, that's A worm.
Was it like the worm at the end of Superman versus? No. The worm at the end of Shazam.
I never saw Shazam.
Watch it. You think your worm's right?
If it's terrifying, it's probably the same one.
Well, he talks, so I mean, he wasn't really that.
This
Anything
one,
that's
could,
talk-
this one could have talked. You could tell by his eyes that he was intelligent.
Talking.
Yeah, I remember we
We're
caught
smoking a
spider.
pipe, staring at us.
Yeah. Hello, children. Nope, I'm out. Whenever I lived in England, I caught a spider that was
An
like
intelligent spider.
he was something, man. Like I'm sure he said, "Please don't," and I was like, "Whoa." He was so strong, like I
Steve,
could,
freedom. Steve
did,
is like
yeah.
he has a heart for spiders. It's
especially
great.
giant spiders.
I save spiders. I don't kill them.
This one
See?
though
was massive.
woke me up because of the sound. Right, I was
It was
asleep
making
and I heard something loud that
Like-
woke me up, and I looked at what it was, and it was a spider on the table, walking.
Yeah, that's unnerving. Okay.
I
Okay.
Yeah,
caught it.
it was nutty,
I caught
and
it with some toilet
he
paper,
caught it with the toilet
and
paper,
I swear I could feel it like
pushing
like
That.
no, like pushing my hand
pushing
open,
for his life.
and I was like, "Dude, we're just going outside." And then
Yeah.
I choked him.
Yeah.
The right guy
And
caught
he's been
that.
plotting revenge ever since.
No,
Or was he like?
he is the Willard of spiders. So spiders love him. They know that he protects them.
Did you know I used to have a spider when I was on my computer, and he would not here, but when I was in Calgary, and he would come sit by my keyboard when I was on the computer, and he would just look at me. And he did a lot, like frequently. There's always this little spider that would come up when I was on my computer.
You should have brought him like bugs.
No, that's what, because
Yeah.
Steve has spent time with the spiders, and he's like, no, like we're buddies. We have an understanding. And at the end of the day, I swear they are intelligent. Like they know. They read thoughts. They know what you're thinking. They know if you're about to kill them. They know if they're not. If you don't want to kill them. They know when they've been seen.
Oh,
For
they know,
sure.
Amber. They know everything.
They know. Well, like I don't know if they all know, but some of them.
I've
know.
seen arachnophobia. I know what's going on.
Okay, I never saw it, but I do think that there's probably some smart.
They have some sort of level of intelligence.
There or
because
intuition or
when
something.
I remember one time, like when we did live in England, we used to get massive, ginormous spiders. Like they
Yeah,
were
that was the
huge.
biggest one thing.
But like I remember one night I was playing some video games and I was just like, it was late and I was tired, and you know you catch something out of the corner of your eye, and I'd look like that fast. You'd be like, okay, nothing. So I'd go back to play video, and then I'd see something again. I'm like, so I went back, and the third time I was like, no, that's it. And I finally like got down to ground level, and the spider was like, oh, like I've been found. Like he would stay so still, and he was like a similar color to our carpet. I couldn't
And
see
they
him.
know.
And
they
he knew
know.
I couldn't see him. But
Yeah,
but then I finally
because they'll
caught
go.
him.
If I see them, they go to the color that they are the closest to.
Yeah, like
Haven't you noticed this? Have you not noticed this?
they were just there's just
That spiders are
clever.
just.
I just let spider do their thing.
yeah.
Sometimes they just want to chat.
See, and if you're that type of
Good
person,
day, Brian.
and if you're like, if you leave the spiders alone, they probably do walk more comfortably around you. I don't leave spiders alone.
See, for me, I find what I told Amber was if you can get comfortable with spiders, spiders eat the
The rest of the
weirder
bugs.
things.
And I do
Yeah,
agree.
that's why I like them.
I do agree. Like I will take spiders over a lot of things. However, within reason, you know, like the
Yeah,
odd
if
one
they
or
start
two
taking over,
spider
it's
is
like,
different. But like when we're like, we don't need to be
Overrun,
a party house.
Yeah, you don't want spiders everywhere. No.
No.
I would
But-
take spiders.
So that's why I don't. Yeah.
Because at least spiders
I
kind of
would. Yeah. I
tend
would
to
take. I would
themselves.
take spiders over a lot of things.
Yeah.
Do you know what the
Flies.
hardest pet I've ever watched was to take care of?
Huh.
A stick insect. I was watching, I had this friend that had a bunch of pets. So he had some snakes and a tarantula and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then so I would take care of him while I was out of town. But then he had the stick insect. And the reason it was so hard, all I had to do was spray the bottle through its cage. No idea if it was ever even there. For all I know, my friend was having me spray this empty cage with a plant in it.
Maybe there was like a hidden camera in there.
Yeah,
Look at
maybe.
Just like.
I'm like,
see?
The note says to water this every day, but I cannot for the life of me see that thing.
Only intelligent people can see this pet.
Yeah, that's
You never noticed that you should have like mentally been like, okay, well now the stick's like, and then if it comes back and it's like facing a different way, then
well, I tried everything, Steve.
Oh,
It was,
did you get your hand in there?
it could have a. I didn't know. I didn't reach in. I would have been worried about it getting out, but like, for all I knew, it had escaped. I don't know. But the funnest to feed were the anoles because they eat crickets, and they camouflage, right? So you can't see them in their cage, but when you put the crickets in, they'll come out and get it.
Oh,
And they have like independent eyes, like those eyes are like.
That's awesome.
Anyways, I'm probably going to stop recording here. That was a good chat, but I want us to save stories for future chats.
Fair enough. I just think it's funny that we're just gonna sit here and talk about ourselves, but that's all.
Yeah, no, it's you know what, Amber? That's the liberties that we have in this country.
yeah.
If you want to talk about yourself all day, maybe no one will watch, but maybe in 1,000 years, people are going to say, "Hey, this is a valuable insight into that guy whose statue's on top of that building over there."
Right.
Did you see my post? That the busts of me have become very popular items.
Well, I do know that, but I know that we talked about you creating a blog for it. I actually feel like you should use this channel to plug your bust. You need to put it up.
But the thing is, they're hard to make. They take like 8 hours to print.
Oh, well, still, you can make
And
one.
if I make too many, they'll go down in value.
Okay, but you can make one for your show, and you were gonna send it around the world, like.
Yeah, oh yeah, I
Make
do
one
remember
for-
you telling me that. You're right.
Like the
Also,
roaming
Chris
gnome.
Like
was
the gnome.
mentioning it, so I'm going to bring one when Susan's out. You guys disappeared.
No, we're back.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll make a note of that. I think I'm going to bring one out in the summer. Maybe a
Yeah.
couple.
On the road trip, take pictures. It needs a blog, right? It needs an Instagram.
Well, I'm going to give it to Chris and
Or-
Susan so they can like take it down to the strip in Vegas.
Are you?
It needs a TikTok. Yeah, take it to the strip.
Well,
yeah.
the one's in New York now, so
I know. On a celebrity.
there's going to be
guest or
statues
something.
of me all over the world.
I know. Well, I told you about Bryant Park in New York.
What?
It should go to Bryant Park. Remember I sent you those pictures of Bryant Park?
Yes, you're right though. I should send one to Bryant Park.
Yeah, it should be like, it should go visit Bryant Park for the day.
Oh my goodness. And it's in New York.
Yeah, it could have lunch.
I'm going to email Lenore and see if she'll do that.
It could go skating. There's lots to do at Bryant Park.
Oh my goodness, that's brilliant. Amber, you're a genius. I'm going to edit that out though, that I said that. I have a reputation.
Yeah, do a bold.
Evil overlord.
Okay. But I'm going to end it because I want to make sure this saves and records. So,
Yeah, good,
all right,
good call.
stop recording.